Hello and welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Criterion, a channel exclusively reviewing and previewing new releases to the collection. In this edition we look at the Joel Coen film from 2001, The Man Who Wasn't There, starring Billy Bob Thornton, coming to the collection on 4K UHD. The films of the Coen Brothers are around in the Criterion collection, from their debut feature Blood Simple from 1984 to Joel Coen's Miller's Crossing from 1990, their film Inside Llewyn Davis from 2013, and the title we're featuring now, The Man Who Wasn't There, directed by Joel Coen in 2001. Billy Bob Thornton features as a disaffected barber in the 1940s in California who has a suspicion that his wife, played by Frances McDormand, is cheating on him, and this takes him down a dark path to blackmail and murder. Thornton is Ed Crean, a barber in the quiet town of Santa Rosa, content to live his life as the number two man at his brother-in-law's barber shop, and as the husband in a lifeless marriage to his wife Doris, Frances McDormand. He suspects his wife is having an affair with her boss, James Gandolfini, at a local department store, but he doesn't mind much. It's a free country, explains Ed. Nevertheless, looking for a change of pace, he agrees to finance a dry cleaning venture run by a travelling salesman, John Polito, and blackmails Doris's boss to get the necessary $10,000. It's the first in a series of attempts that Ed makes to swim against the current of his lonely world. He is the man who wasn't there, and it's more than apt when applied to Thornton's rendition of Ed Crean, but also something of a new start for the apathetic barber. There's the sense that by finally lashing out against the established society that has backed him into the dark corner, however futilely, Ed experiences something of a renewal. Still, the specifics of Ed's renewal are best captured on black and white film. He seems to become a part of the inky, obtuse shadows, which, characteristic of the genre, comprise the majority of the frame. Likewise, Thornton's neutral complexion blends into the grayscales of his surroundings, and visually he recedes into the background. Intangibly, though, he's always present, his worrisome eyes and pensive mouth calling the viewer's attention to the lion-sized devil riding on his back. Now, in point of fact, there's a lot of blending done in The Man Who Wasn't There. Thornton blends Ed Crean into the background, both physically and through voiceover. The composer, Carter Burwell, integrates strains of Ludwig von Beethoven into his original score, and the director, Joel Coen, and cinematographer Roger Deakins effectively weave light and shadow together for a priceless noir feel, to name but a few. Perhaps most notably, though, Coen Brothers fans won't be disappointed by this film, because amidst all the depression is a healthy sampling of Ethan and Joel Coen's ironic wit. Although less pronounced in O Brother, Where Art Thou, often considerably brighter than most of the Brothers films, it's more at home here, the same way that it was in Fargo. To be sure, this isn't side-splitting laughter though. The jokes are as low-key as the entire production itself is. The most obvious element of the Coen Brothers' chosen context here is the noir genre, and moreover, the black and white noir genre. Film noir seems to have adopted black and white film as an intrinsic component more than any other type of cinema has. While its choice may have some Hitchcock fans up in arms, it is relatively new ground for the Coens. Regardless, director Joel Coen and cinematographer Roger Deakins show no lack of skill in the medium, manipulating light and shadow to give the film a depth it would have easily lost if it was made in colour. It's easier to stomach the black and white frames because the film's set in Santa Rosa, California in 1949, and given the low-key nature of the production, the audience might easily be fooled into thinking they're watching a restored print of some long-forgotten noir flick. Now that is, if not for the dominating presence of Billy Bob Thornton, whose creased, weathered face fills every frame of the film with a powerfully stoic silence. It's the production as a whole, as well, that is the secret to the film's entire success. While the plot's original, it is occasionally overcomplicated, with too many subplots for its own good. Hitchcock, the man to which this film will be credited with countless homages, knew that the secret to suspense was to squeeze as much as possible out of the barest of setups. And with all its elements, the Coen Brothers essentially have 1.5 films here. The gem is that the man who wasn't there and some extras that might have made for an intriguing film if they had been saved for the next venture. Now, quite often, though, the Coen Brothers have been called an acquired taste, and those who have acquired that taste will be suitably equipped to deal with the brothers' tendency to occasionally overachieve. But simply put, the man who wasn't there is different, and it's in a good way. It will have audiences on the edge of their seat, if not for the competent suspense that the Coen Brothers dish up, but at least for the amount of visual complexity they stuff into every frame. Like Ed Crane, they're content to quietly ply their trade, to the inevitable delight of American movie audiences. Now, the man who wasn't there is presented in a 185:1 anamorphic widescreen transfer. The print looks almost pristine here. It's got minimal grain, marks and debris, which results in a stunning image, and to say the least. The black and white photography is gorgeous throughout, and this treatment ensures it looks as good as it can be, via sharp black levels and an image that never softens even for a second. The few minor issues in it keep this one from the elusive perfect score, but I can tell you what, it's a superb effort. Now, the sound here isn't anything, though, that will make your mouth drop open. We've got a Dolby Digital 5.1 soundtrack, which is fair at times, and this sounds like a mostly mono track. The Coen Brothers aren't really noted for their use of sound, and it's never been more evident in this film than ever. Still, a new movie, it has none of the drawbacks of the older movies that really were recorded in mono, and the action is limited to the front 3 channels mainly, and even further limited to the centre channel for the majority of the movie. But the film still doesn't have a lot of cards to play, but it's played them all fairly early on. One longs for more surprises, though, like the beat where Ed interrupts his internal monologue for several minutes of plot material, and then he comes back to the exact moment he left off, the most acerbic of all jokes about his unruffled disinterest in the world around himself. And for the most part, once we see Thornton's deadpan expressions and the way that other people deal with him by simply not noticing what a blank object he really is, there's nothing the film is going to do for any of its 116 minutes to shake that up. Now, I understand intellectually what the film's going for here, and I do admire its extraordinarily handsome production to no end, and Carter Burwell's pensive music, which feels a little like a more optimistic version of the Fargo score, nestling in nicely with the film's use of some of the moodier Beethoven pieces, the Pathétique and Moonlight Sonatas. The Man Who Wasn't There can be a very flat film, though, and just because it's about vagueness and uncertainty and dispassionately coasting through the world, it doesn't make its own lack of momentum any more exciting to watch. It simply doesn't feel like the Coens knew what they wanted the end result to actually be, and this aimless depiction of an aimless life makes it unsurprising that their career was about to run into some films that feel like the work of artists going through the motions, as with a little enthusiasm as Ed's. Now, the film comes as a 4K UHD combo, with the film on a 4K UHD disc and the Blu-ray containing the film and these special features. A new 4K digital restoration, and that's supervised and approved by director of photography Roger Deakins, with 5.0 surround DTS HD Master Audio soundtrack. Audio commentary featuring filmmakers Joel and Ethan Coen and the actor Billy Bob Thornton. New conversation between the Coens and author Megan Abbott. Archival interview with Roger Deakins. Short making of documentary and deleted scenes. And an essay, and that's by the author Laura Lipman. And the cover art is designed by Mark Aspinall. Fusing the expressionistic black and white and hard-boiled poetry of classic noir with their own idiosyncratic feeling for sinister, surreal Americana, Joel and Ethan Coen craft an arresting vision of the cruelty of fate and the mystery of our place in the cosmos. The Man Who Wasn't There has a running time of 116 minutes, and it's in black and white with an aspect ratio of 185:1, and it releases in the US on Tuesday the 24th of February and in the UK on Monday the 2nd of March on 4K UHD, a spine 1301. Now we'll be taking a break next week, and we'll be returning the following week with Louise Burnell's Veridiana, coming to the collection on 4K UHD. So until then, from me, as always, it's goodbye, and above all, good Criterion viewing.